What is it about me that made you think I want to be relatable?
Hello, everybody. Today I am here with Cam from the channel Camellia. You may know her as one half of the show Cringefluencers, where she runs that show along with Kia's World. We've all collabed before in the past. We're all friends here. We're going to be doing a Cringefluencers and Your Morning Guru collab very soon, probably around the end of this month, and that's how I feel about that. That's how I feel about that. Even though I'm recording this as a video and this isn't live, I'm still just gonna have fun with all the sound effects. That's what I'm gonna do. Everyone likes that. Today we're talking about Brittany Dawn, whom I have no audio clips of. I can't even think of what her voice sounds like. I've covered Brittany Dawn before on my channel, and you've covered Brittany Dawn. We've talked about her fitness scams and things like that. This seems to happen a lot, where someone gets into a big scandal and then moves into the Christian influencer space.
Yeah, I think that's your way out of getting canceled. Just you find Jesus
I found
some
Jesus,
way.
guys. Yeah, found Jesus. But even since Brittany Dawn has found Jesus, it seems that the scandals have only gotten worse, because she got married to a violent dude who is her husband. His big controversy was that he used to be a police officer and got fired. He got let go from the police force because there was video evidence of him committing police brutality. So, real stand-up guy there. Really scary guy. I never did a video on this because it's too sad. I'm not going to go into detail about this, but her husband also killed their dog, which we're not going into detail about because I cannot handle, you see my baby back there. I'm a dog person. We're not, yeah. So anyway, things have only gotten worse.
I've recently covered the motion to compel that was filed by Texas. So Brittany was essentially trying to sell these personalized fitness and nutrition plans for people. And this happens for a long time, since 2013 or 2014 up until like 2019. So easily 5 years, really. And it turns out lots of people were not getting personalized plans at all. In fact, they were getting things that were completely templated. Like they would send a message and they would say, oh my God, I'm really struggling with this. And Brittany's response would be like, welcome, I'm so happy like that you joined, or like something like that. It was never personalized. It was never what they expected it to be. However, I think that the prices were high, and they were high because they were supposed to be personalized. So when you're paying for a personal trainer, it's a different situation than when you're in a group session or whatever. It's a different price. So I think that's why people were willing to pay more. I'm assuming throughout this whole thing that they basically asked for refunds. People asked for refunds or something, or they asked her to personalize them for them, sorry. But none of that happened, and it pissed off enough people that people created a Facebook group where they essentially got together and they basically decided to just kind of take it further, and eventually they did. And now Texas State is suing Brittany Dawn LLC for false advertising, or there's something under the false advertising umbrella.
It was absolutely false advertising. People were extremely upset about that. And, from there, as many do, she decided to take this controversy as an opportunity to rebrand into a Christian influencer and say, you know what, I found Jesus, it's okay, I'm a warrior for Jesus now. And of course, because she is a boss babe at heart, Brittany Dawn didn't just say, I'm a warrior for Jesus and I am now going to church and being a good person. Instead, of course, she had to sell people things about Jesus. She had to now sell to the religious audience instead. There's an article that came out on The Guardian just a couple weeks ago called You Can't Cancel Me, Embattled TikTok Star Reinvents Herself as a Warrior for Jesus.
Oh.
So, let's see what happened to Brittany Dawn. Brittany Dawn now serves more than 1 million followers Christian content after a previous life as a fitness influencer. Around 5 p.m. in Fort Worth, Texas, as the April evening sun splashed angelic beams of light across the event space's concrete walls, Brittany Dawn Davis, Davis is now her last name, began baptizing women in a horse trough. Okay. Baptizing people's a little bit, that's a choice. Wearing a black sweatshirt stamped with the word mercy, a nod to a local megachurch, Mercy Culture, and her white blonde hair extensions tied in a loose ponytail, Davis dunked woman after woman into the cold water as cheers of "woo" erupted from onlookers. Most of the women looked younger than 30 years old. Some shivered, some wept and smiled as they received their blessing. A live band playing soft music served as a backdrop for the many videos and reels being filmed, all soon to be posted to Instagram and TikTok.
This cultish.
That's what I was just about to say. This reminds me kind of the Teal Swan thing. Remember all the stuff with Teal Swan? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's
Teal
like,
Swan.
she's baptizing people.
Yeah. This is, and I just don't understand what, don't you need to be like some sort of priest or something to like baptize people? Do you just get baptized by anyone?
I guess it depends on the specific religion and how it's organized because, I think if you're going to be like officially part of the Catholic Church, I don't think you can just be baptized by anyone. But I guess it depends on the specific religious sect and what they allow and how their vetting is done.
If I come to the States and I visit you guys, I will baptize all of you.
Please do. Come to Chicago. You can baptize me into the Church of Boss Babes, whatever you want. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
I'll baptize the hell out of all of you. And I'll baptize Kayla and RK if they're up for it.
Yeah, you baptize all of us. Yeah, we'll all meet up in the US and
no worries. I will get my certificate on Canva. It's all good.
Yeah. You just make a little certificate for yourself.
Yeah, and that will only
what
cost
Jordan
you
Peterson
like 10
has
grand.
to say. If someone asked, how do we know if this is allowed? This is what Jordan Peterson says.
What rules, you sons of bitches?
What rules, you sons of bitches? That's Jordan
Don't worry.
Peterson.
I am more than happy to baptize all of you. It's only $9,997 each.
Well, thank God it ends in a 7. I'm glad I saved those $3.
Exactly. I'm so glad you didn't go into the 5-figure, But I feel like, jokes aside, this is kind of a business for Brittany, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, yeah. It says, social media is where this crowd came to know their baptizer, the Christian social media influencer known as Brittany Dawn. The nearly 100 women in the room had traveled from across the country, Tennessee, Florida, Colorado, and as far as upstate New York for a day-long retreat to meet their role model. For the past several years, Davis has served her combined 1.7 million followers, 1 million on TikTok alone, daily doses of Christian content, Bible verses on her signature millennial beige backdrop, tips on dressing modestly, and videos on the importance of saving sex for marriage. She definitely didn't do that. Also,
she was married before.
She's been divorced and married again. Yeah, she's been married twice. And
well,
also,
she saves it for each husband.
I guess. Yeah, I didn't have sex outside of our marriage other than all the sex I had in my other marriage with someone who wasn't you. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that's what they meant in the Bible, that you just have to save yourself for each
Yeah, just get married real quick. Well, that's why you see a lot of like Christian people getting married really young. It's like, all right, I'll get married at, 20 so that I can start having sex. It's like, yeah, I mean, I guess, or you just don't have to wait till marriage.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a mistake too, because like most marriages, or not most, but something like 50% of marriages end in divorce around the age of 30.
Oh, I'm 30 now. I don't see myself getting divorced, but
well,
we'll
I hope
see.
You're in the positive 50%. But while I was not married, I was in a long-term relationship, and that ended, and still dealing with the repercussions of like legal things and whatever.
No.
So I guess we were not married, but we are having to go through a divorce of sorts.
I'm so sorry. That's awful. Yeah.
Oh, it's fine. It's, it's part of life. But like, I just think that it's such a mistake well, I mean, maybe not for everyone, but I think when the reason behind getting married is, oh, I can't wait to start having sex, I feel like that's kind of like a bad way to go about it. Like maybe just wait to get to know that person, see if you're like a good fit in the long term, if you have like similar goals or similar values in life, and if you're like a good match, instead of just going like, I just need to get laid, so here's a ring.
I mean, I don't know. Classically, Abby says that we shouldn't have sex with random people, and that random people includes everyone we're not married to. And she even went on to specify that someone you've been dating for years but aren't married to is random and counts as a random person. You have to be legally married in order for it not to be a random person. That's what Classically Abby told me.
I think classically Abby is wrong though, because I want a free trial before I commit.
Exactly. Could you imagine getting married to someone and then later learning that you had like completely different sexual preferences in every way and didn't like any of the same stuff, and like didn't want to you didn't like want to do it the same amount of time or like the same frequency, or like you didn't want to do any of the same acts, that you all liked only different things. Like, could you imagine that? That would be awful. And now it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm stuck in this for the rest of my life. Cool.
Oh, well,
what?
you could be like Brittany Dodd and just that's fine. You can just divorce and get another husband and save
then
yourself
have sex
for
with
him.
only him. Yeah.
And then, that's fine.
What about the millennial beige backdrop? What is up with that? Because I think there's something to this, that like there are a lot of people who are like now in their 30s who make content that is like beige and earth tones. And Brittany Dawn definitely does this, but I think a lot, like Jenna Kutcher does this too.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I hate that color palette. I'm sure people can tell that like I am very bright and colorful in every way. Like I love bright, vibrant colors, but it does seem like that's not like, doesn't fit with a lot of aesthetics on the internet. And that's interesting to me.
It was the OG style, wasn't it? Like everything had to be perfect in every single picture. You had to have the perfect lighting. You had to have the perfect kitchen. You had to, everything was curated. Absolutely, like every centimeter in every single picture. And I think to some extent, you had to be rich to be able to be an influencer like 5 or 6 years ago, because I think people liked lots of people for that sort of thing, like for the aesthetic and this is why so many people have gone so far as like renting mansions to like pretend like it's their houses to do content in. And like this was the case with Dan Locke. Dan Locke was basically not able to pay his rent on a mansion that was like 30 million or something like that, that he pretended to own. So,
oh my God, of course that was Dan Locke. He's such a scammer, dude. I hate Dan Locke.
Yeah, like people went to great lengths to pretend like they were rich, because I think the rich sold on the internet.
Apparently, here's what Brittany Dawn has been selling in terms of the Christian merch. Everything from Bible highlighters to self-tanner, protein cookies, teeth whitener, and false eyelashes. The retreats are one of her bigger ticket items, ranging from $125 to $650. What is funny here is that none of this stuff seems to go together. Like, okay, Bible highlighters. So how is that different than a regular highlighter? It's just like things to highlight passages in your Bible. And then why is she also selling self-tanner? Why is she selling false eyelashes? How does any of this relate? And she's like, I'm selling these specific items that's like, here's some cosmetic stuff, but also here's some Bible stuff, and here's my Christian retreat. Like, this is all so random.
This is bizarre. And also, it's very contradictory, because, like, aren't you meant to, like, if you are super religious, aren't you meant to, and she claims to be all about modesty. What is with the self-tanner and teeth whitener? Aren't you modest? And false eyelashes.
This is the thing that I just finished filming, and by the time this video goes up, I'm sure this one will be out already. I just finished filming this video about Girl Defined, and they're talking about how all the images we see on social media are so fake, and because of that, they can't be true and honest and beautiful in a godly way. And I'm like, okay, it's fair to be critical of, social media creating an unrealistic image of what we're going to look like or what our lives are going to look like, sure. However, to say that, like, something that isn't completely natural can't be beautiful is a lie, because, like, Kristen from Girl Defined, I can see that your roots are darker than the tips of your hair. Like, then that's fine. I'm not a natural blonde either. I dye my hair. So I'm like, that's fine. But, like, you've got to acknowledge that you do it too. Like, you have mascara on, which is fine. Your eyelashes aren't that long naturally. That's fine. Do whatever with your own eyelashes that you want, but don't act like it's anyone else who does these things is a liar, but when you do it, it's godly when you do it, because everything's fine when you do it. Like, that's just so hypocritical. I hate that so much.
Yeah, it's sort of like they want to be sending a message, but in a way they still need to be aspirational to the people that they're sending the message. So they still need to look good and like be really nice and presentable and whatever, even when they're giving the message of like, you gotta be super modest, you guys. Not me though. Like you have to be modest.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. It's always so weird because it's like, in order to be successful on social media, to an extent, like, people want to look at people who are attractive. So, yeah, the people who are pretty are going to have an easier time gaining a following. But also, almost nobody on the internet has like completely natural beauty, which is fine. There's nothing inherently superior about that. But, most of people will, try some hair dye or do some makeup, get their nails done, like do things like that because they're fun and they look good online. Like, cool, have a good time with that. But then to, act like modesty and being humble before God is the most important thing. It's like, yeah, you don't live by that either.
Yeah, Brittany Dunn certainly does not live like that.
No.
Brittany has like hair extensions. And even her clothes. Like she claims that she's now modest, but I find that while she claims that, I see very little difference in the way that she's dressing now versus the way that she was dressing before she was modest.
She just dresses for the weather, because like she'll be like, this is how I used to dress. It's a tank top and shorts. That wasn't modest. Here's how I dress now. It's long pants and a long sleeve shirt. And I'm like, yeah, because it's winter now, dude. Like, obviously it's too cold to wear what you were wearing before. I don't trust that you've made this like whole character transformation.
Yeah. I feel like when you're like attempting to just rebrand yourself like that, I feel like you at least have to step into it a little bit more like authentically. And if you're gonna be like, okay, I'm modest, well, be modest, like, at least give it a shot. Let's see what that would be like. But I feel like she's trying to pretend that she's doing it only to sell these things that come with, like the baptism things, because I am willing to bet that is not free.
It says here, she isn't new to this game. In her former life as a fitness influencer, a past that has embroiled her in an upcoming $1 million lawsuit and accusations of con artistry. She sold everything from coaching to athletic socks. She has since entirely rebranded and chosen to become a spiritual guru to her many followers. Where she once posted quad exercises, Davis's Instagram bio now reads, wildly in love with Jesus and writer of truth-filled captions. Writer of truth-filled captions. What is that supposed to mean? Also, wildly in love with Jesus is like, Jesus is hot, dude. How do I feel about Jesus? Like, I wanna fuck Jesus, dude. That's Brittany over here. She's like, I am wildly in love. Does not sound like I have respect for Jesus as the historical figure that he was and what he represented. No, that sounds like Jesus is hot and I am into him. Like, that's what that sounds like.
Yeah. Well, her husband definitely does not look like Jesus. There's no long locks and,
No.
So I don't know.
I get it, dude.
Is
All
her
the
husband
artistic
like jealous
representations
though?
of Jesus looks pretty hot in all of those. I get
it. Yeah, exactly. But writer of truth-filled captions, I'm sorry, is this like a new thing? Because like I could apply for that job. Writer of truth-filled captions.
Right, like, I don't lie in my Instagram captions either. Like, what do you mean by that? Do you mean, like, you write Bible verses in the captions? Or do you mean that you just, like, do you mean that you lied in the captions before? Like, it's now I'm trying to, like, it's like, I write truth in my captions, okay, as opposed to what? Did you used to, I guess she did used to lie in them because she used to sell fake fitness courses, so...
Yeah, this is kind of a confession right now.
Yeah,
right here.
It's like, I tell the truth now, you guys. You can trust me this time.
Yeah, I promise this is truthful. Not like before.
Yeah, so I guess here it's going into all the stuff from the lawsuit. And so, like, the controversy that she got into, it says a Texas native, she began her career as a fitness influencer in the world of bodybuilding, posting pictures of her muscular frame in jean cutoffs and sports bras as she prepped for bikini competitions, but now she's modest, so she can't do that anymore. By 2014, she was selling personalized meal plans and coaching to her followers using her own physical transformation as a calling card. A plan would cost as much as $300, although it turns out she was sending the same cookie-cutter template to hundreds of customers, according to the complaint filed against her by the Texas Attorney General. Instead of the promised one-on-one coaching, many women received either no response or generic text messages such as, "That's my girl, you're killing it," or "You got this, babe." Oh my god, I would hate that so much. You paid $300. Like, I'll be honest, I spend a lot of money at the gym. I really do. but that's because I pay to see a trainer. So yeah, I've spent way more than $300 on individualized fitness stuff, but that's because I pay to go see a trainer twice a week for for an hour each time twice a week. And then I get personalized one-on-one stuff with someone who is working right there with me and is making sure I'm doing everything safely and corrects my form when I do something wrong and helps me slowly increase the weight that I'm lifting and things like that. So I'm doing that to ensure safety. And then I've also, go to like martial arts classes in the evening at the gym. So I'm doing these things where like I'm working with people in person who are able to help you out. And I think there's so much value in that. There's so much value in that above buying someone's just template repeated fitness plan that they're trying to have a one-size-fits-all approach for, when in reality, one-size-fits-all is hard to apply to fitness. Everybody has a different starting point. Everybody has, different body size, different body shape, different, physical capabilities, different strengths and weaknesses, different levels of experience. And because of all of that, having someone that can see you and see what you're doing and say, oh, you need to adjust this, you're not doing this quite right, try it like this. There's so much value to be had in that. And I'd say if anyone has $300 to spend on a generic fitness influencer course, try using $300 instead to do like a couple weeks of one-on-one personal training at a gym and see what you can learn from that. Because I don't want to say I can guarantee, because I don't want to get sued by the Texas Attorney General too, but I will say I think it's likely you will probably learn a whole lot more from that.
Oh, yes, 100%. But I think this is where Texas really does have like a good claim, because she did not tell people this was like there's other influencers online, and one of them I was just looking for her name, but I don't remember it. That I want to buy the program that she has. She has these like programs that you can just download in an app. It's something like $40. That is not personalized. That is a thing that she just, she goes through, she tells you exactly how many push-ups to do, how many barbells to lift, and how many times and whatever. And that's something you do on your own time, in your own gym, alone with your phone. There's no personalization that is being sold to you, and that costs $40. And this is where I feel like Brittany was like, that's what she gave them. She gave them something like that. She gave them a plan that is a template, but asked for a premium price as if it was personalized. And that is where the deception comes in my opinion. And I just think that I feel really bad for people who buy it, because you go in expecting you'll get this service, you don't get the service, you then message them, be like, hey, I'm not happy with this, give me a refund. You get no refund. And then you also right just see her make millions on the internet. So it sucks to see that. It's like, I understand people's anger of why they would just get together and be like, you know what, this is not cool, because like it's not cool at all.
It says right here, those who complained or posted negative comments were often blocked on social media, and some who asked for a refund reported being required to sign a non-disclosure agreement. So, which is so shady, because it's like, okay, you want a refund, which means you didn't feel that you got what you were promised out of it. That's why you're asking to return it. And she's over here like, okay, but you have to sign an NDA and not reveal what actually happened. Like, no, dude, if you sold me something that wasn't the thing that I was actually trying to buy, it's fair that I should let other people know about this as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that every time that influencers ask for a non-disclosure, it's like a red flag. Like Marie Forleo does this with her B school. There's like little, things in small print where you have to sign that you're never gonna disparage, or non-disclosure or non-disparagement. It's a red flag. If you buy anything, any sort of product, anything that you put your money into, you are allowed to review said product publicly, privately, anything. If they're asking you, they're making you sign not to do it, it's because they don't want people to know what is really going on.
Yeah, that's absolutely... In a lot of cases, if you have confidence in your product, you should want people reviewing it, because you should want people to share with each other what the product is really like, because if it's really good, then they would theoretically be sharing that. Yeah, not everyone's going to like it, but at the end of the day, if overall it's satisfying the customers, then you should want people to share their experiences with it.
Exactly.
So this is a sad story right here of someone who is suffering with an ED who got worse while following Brittany's advice, because she says here, like, she understands how badly we were taken advantage of. No fitness coach should be recommending 1,245 calorie plans with intense HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. Dude,
That's so
they were giving
low.
people like, dude, 1,200 calories a day
That
with
is the
working
absolute
out.
minimum that
Oh
you
my
could.
god, yeah. Wow, I eat way more than that.
You need to eat more when you exercise. Otherwise, like it's very hard to build any muscle because the
You
muscle
won't gain any
requires.
strength, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's kind of like counterproductive. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
lose weight by eating restrictive calories, but it's taking away from your muscles, which in fact are the thing that burns the calories. Like you need bigger muscles
Exactly.
to burn the calories. So it's never gonna be a long-term solution.
Yeah, if you're trying to lose weight, then yeah, eating less and exercising is going to burn calories. But then on top of that, people forget that what calories are units of heat energy. So if you don't have those units of heat energy inside of you, then and you're burning them all off, you will have no energy and you will just be exhausted all the time. So yeah, maybe you'll lose weight, but you will have a miserable experience. It won't be sustainable because you won't be able to go through life being that tired all the time and being able to get your normal life stuff done. And then, yeah, like you said, on top of that, if you actually do want to build strength, building muscle requires there to be enough calories in your body to have that energy to convert into muscle. Because if it's not there, your body is just feeding on what's there because it needs something to burn for the energy that keeps you alive. So it's absolutely, you cannot be eating too low of calories. I eat quite a lot. I eat a lot of food and I am very physically active. And I found that doing a lot of both is very good. Like, it keeps me, overall, I'm energized and I get a lot of stuff done. I like taking the path of, and I'm not, just so everyone knows, I'm not a professional coach in any way. I am just someone who sees a personal trainer and works with a dietitian and works out a lot. But for me, my personal opinion is that doing things in greater quantities rather than fewer quantities in general. So for me, it's like, I don't try to eat less. I try to work out more and also eat enough to sustain that. And I don't try to eat like less of a certain thing. Instead, I want to try to eat more of a certain thing. So like if I'm hungry and I need more, I feel I don't try to eat less food. I'll try to like add a protein shake on top of things or like add some additional foods with nutrients. Like, so you want to add things on top of things instead of trying to take things away. Because in general, when you feel like you're depriving yourself of something, it's a lot harder to motivate yourself to do things. Whereas if you are adding more of things, you feel like your body's more in motion and you're just accomplishing more. That's at least that's what motivates me, and that's how I feel about it. That's my personal experience. But giving people really low calorie diets and then also giving them intense workouts,
I did this
especially non-personalized. That's just gonna make you exhausted.
I went on a diet, a very restrictive diet, maybe like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Prague at the time, and I also have a problem with my thyroid, which makes like my metabolism really hard to, it doesn't work properly. So I went on this diet. At the time, I didn't know I had like any other issues, like health issues that I should be looking at. I just thought, oh, I eat too much, so I'm just gonna. So I ate so little. I literally would eat, and this is a trigger warning, just like in case anyone doesn't want to hear about it. But basically, I ate maybe like 500 calories a day.
Oh wow, that's nothing, dude.
That was so bad. Here's the thing with that. You need energy from something. The energy will be coming from the foods that you eat. We don't just live. We're not just like separate from
We're
the
not
environment.
plants. We don't just take energy from the sun and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was so tired, and on a single basis, I could not leave my bed because there was no energy. There was no energy coming into my body because I was not eating anything. I was literally eating like a banana for breakfast, an egg for lunch, and it was insane. And then I realized like my hair was falling out, like I was just losing. It wasn't like insanity, but like it was more than usual. And of course, these things would start to impact your hair, to start impact your skin. And yes, you're losing weight, but at the same time, I will say I never felt as unattractive as I felt during those few months when I was doing that diet. And I think it's just so damaging because like even on a psychological level, you think, oh, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to feel better about myself. And I lost weight and I just did not
Yeah.
like what I looked like, on top of not being able to leave the bed because I was so exhausted. All I could do is just go to work and just be in bed. So it's not worth it. You're not going to live a life that is worth, you want to be able to live your days to the fullest, like to do
Right.
activities, to enjoy your time with friends, to enjoy your time with family, to enjoy your time at work. And in fact, what I was feeling was just that I was constantly hungry and I was constantly exhausted. Um, and I stopped liking the way I looked too. So
I had a similar experience when I was in high school. I was really very thin. I didn't eat enough and I was underweight. And what I remember most is just being cold. Because a lot of times you don't think about that, but your body needs a certain amount of fat to keep you warm because it's like your body, like that's what keeps you warm, right? It's
yeah,
like insulation. I didn't have enough fat on my body, so I was freezing and my hands would regularly go numb and my feet would regularly go numb. And it would be like a hot summer day outside and I'd be standing there shivering and everyone else would be sweating and it'd be like, how are you so cold? And I'm like, I am so cold. I cannot handle this. So,
yeah.
and then like I'd regularly like just be watching TV in the living room and then my feet would go numb and I'd be like, oh my God, why are my feet numb? Why don't I have any circulation? So that's what I remember from not eating enough and being
Yeah.
very thin was that I was cold. I was just freezing all
I
the
remember
time.
that too. And I think it's because like your metabolism needs energy to like
Yep.
stay active. And if you don't have energy, then the metabolism is not able to protect you from what it's meant to protect you from, bacteria. You get sick a lot easier. It can protect you from bacteria. You can protect you from cold. It's a constant, it's a battle, and it's just it's not worth it.
No.
Like I think you gotta take the long, I think what you're doing is the right way to go about it, because you got to take the long way out. Like if you want to lose weight, or if you want to get healthy, or if you want to get in shape, think of it as like a lifelong process, and just like, what can I do so that over time, within years, I get to the thing that I want to do via a healthy way, like by not by eating less, just by eating healthier, by being more active, and so on. Because the opposite is so damaging. Like,
Oh,
it's
I
just,
completely agree. Yeah, it's got to be something you can look at, not as like a goal. I mean, it's fine to have fitness goals. I have plenty of fitness goals, but I think sometimes people look at it as like, my goal is that I am going to lose weight and get in shape. And it's like, instead of looking at it as a goal, you want it to be something you want to do forever. It's not like I'm going to work out and eat less until I hit this goal. It's got to be like, if the things you're doing you hate and you're just doing in the meantime until you hit a certain goal, it's going to be a miserable experience, and it's also probably going to be an unhealthy way to go about it, as opposed to if you look at something as something you enjoy doing and want to do forever. It's like, yeah, I fully intend to go to the gym 4 times a week for the rest of my life and work out at home as well for the rest. Like, I intend to do that for the rest of my life because I enjoy it and I know it's a part of my week, it's a part of my regular schedule, and I do it. It's not something that I'm doing for the short term until I hit a certain like body type. Nope, because you got to look at it as like something that you're going to want to do a long time. And so that often involves slow and incremental changes as opposed to, fast changes that, yeah. So that's the hard part, is it's a lot longer of a process, but at least it's safer.
yeah.
So Brittany Dawn was not going about this safely. It says here, the state of Texas announced in February that it is suing Davis for $250,000 to $1 million in damages for deceptive trade practices. And the fact that many of her alleged victims were struggling with EDs is a crucial element of the lawsuit. Not only were these women especially vulnerable, they were deliberately misled for financial gain. As the complaint reads in the state of Texas versus Brittany Dawn, by posting about her own experience with EDs and in the same breath encouraging women to buy her fitness plan, Davis was representing explicitly or implicitly that she had knowledge or training to address eating disorders when she did not. So the trial is set for March of next year. I guess we'll have to see what happens with that trial.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, oof.
that would be interesting actually to watch. I can't wait for it. It's like, for me, it's entertainment, but no, but it's serious stuff, because like I think it will set the precedent in the future for how other influencers do trade. Because at the moment it feels like it's the Wild West with influencers. Like There's people who are not disclosing sponsorship, people who are not disclosing affiliates, people who are selling these things, like, and it's got to start somewhere with the regulations, and in order for it to be a bit more fair and a bit more transparent.
Yeah, I completely agree. And a lot of these things are it seems to be setting some precedents regarding consumer protection, which I appreciate. I didn't even know that she took out a $20,000 COVID relief loan. Wow.
Of
And
course
anyway, she's closed down the fitness influencer side of it entirely. It seems she's completely done with that and is now doing just stuff for Jesus.
The Brittany Dawn Church.
The Church of Brittany Dawn. She has warned her followers of the demonic danger of secular music. She claims Lady Gaga is an actual witch, yoga, crystals, and zodiac signs. Perhaps unsurprisingly, she was also briefly banned from Facebook for promoting QAnon conspiracy theories and COVID-19 misinformation.
Oh,
so
lovely.
she just leaned in, she just flipped a switch and was like, I'm done being a fitness influencer. Now I'm going to go balls to the wall. I'm going to go as hard as possible with being Christian as I possibly can. I'm not even just going to go to church and talk about how I like Jesus. I am going to talk about how Lady Gaga is a literal witch, and how we don't need vaccines because God will heal us. I'm going to go full on into the deepest depths of the most extreme side of it. That's wild that she just dove in head first with that.
I feel like sometimes, and I don't know if this is necessarily the case here, but sometimes I feel like there are some influencers who purposefully go to the alt-right, full on alt-right, because it's what will get them noticed and what will get them views on the internet. I don't know if this is the case right now, but just when you go about it this way and you're just full on speaking against yoga as you were a fitness influencer, for fuck's sake, how are you going to
she clearly, I'm sure she did yoga before, yeah.
Yoga, what's wrong with yoga? Yoga is great for you. There's nothing wrong
I guess
with
because
it.
yoga is rooted in non-Christian spiritual practices, and only Christianity is the one true religion, according to her. Now, I'm guessing that's where it's from.
But what about body pump? Is that based in Christianity? Because I do body pump.
I don't know. I'm sure I do plenty of things that Brittany Dawn would consider demonic and non-Christian. Yeah.
That's what she did before. She did all of is weightlifting, which is something that she would do, for example, as a fitness influencer. Is that demonic? Does she not call herself out?
I don't know, dude. I think with yoga, it comes from the fact that yoga is based in a lot of Eastern spiritual practices that are not Christian, and weightlifting doesn't usually have a spiritual component to it, but some of it does. So I don't know. But either way, it's completely absurd. Yeah.
Yeah. Who decides which ones are okay with God and which ones are not? Because what kind of God is that looks at yoga and goes demonic? I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude. This is 100% a grift. She's doing this to rebrand herself and make money. It says, for her detractors, many of whom can be found in a 23,000 strong internet sleuth community on Reddit, the Brittany Dawn narrative is straightforward. She's a con woman, they say. Her rise and fall carry all the elements of a good story. The unlikely ascent to fame, the magnificent amounts of deception required to keep a long con afloat, and, they hope, a fiery train wreck of an ending, complete with a public fall from grace and perhaps even jail time. Honestly, it really does sound like she deserves that at this point.
Yeah. I don't think she will end up in jail, but hopefully that she does get some sort of punishment or some sort of tax to pay for that.
Well, I guess she's trying to frame this as a story of overcoming obstacles. This is her origin story, because it says here, her supporters prefer the alternative narrative. Yes, she has made huge mistakes, but that renders her story of redemption all the more persuasive. They don't deny that she mishandled her earlier business, that she dressed immodestly, that she was divorced. Rather, they embrace her past evidence that there is no limit to what Jesus can redeem. As Davis herself wrote in a recent TikTok, no one is too far gone for Christ. So she's trying to say, yes, I did all these things in the past that were very non-Christian. However, Jesus has saved me, and he can save you too. So she's trying to, use that as part of her personal branding narrative.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh.
So that's what's up with Brittany Dawn right now, you guys. She is getting sued. I guess the case is supposed to go to trial in March of 2023, so I'm sure we'll have an update. When that happens, I'm sure we'll be following along with that.
There was a motion to compel recently, end of September, I think, or mid-September. And basically the state was asking for a list of all the customers. And Brittany said that she has roughly 5,000 customers, and she only gave them 1,500.
So she didn't even get, yeah.
She didn't have time apparently in 5 months to give them a list of customers. She doesn't have.
When she was ordered by the law to do it.
Yeah, and she is locked out of a PayPal account because enough people have reported her on PayPal that she's locked out. But then I'm pretty sure that the law overrides PayPal. Like if the law wants the fucking paperwork, PayPal probably needs to give them to them. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Brittany has requested it. That's the thing, because I don't think she's all that interested to give people like a full list of. Because then once you have the list of people, you can contact them. You know, like if you have names, emails, phone numbers, you can contact these people, and they will all be witnesses. And it's just, I don't think she wants to, to show that. In my opinion, I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of how it seems. Yeah. Brittany Dawn is an absolute scammer in my opinion. I think she's trying to rebrand in ways to make money, and it's shady. I'm incredibly suspicious of her. I don't trust her whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more and more. I've been covering her more and more. Well,
yeah,
I say that I only made 2 videos, but like, I've been kind of keeping up with the Reddit and with the stuff that's happening, because I feel like this is my mission in life.
Your mission is to take down the self-help industry. Yeah,
exactly.
I get
or
that.
At least bring awareness to all of the shady business practices, like, and you do that, like that's what you talk
exactly
against.
I'm
like,
glad that this kind of stuff
businesses.
I'm glad this kind of stuff is gaining traction, that people are kind of taking notice of like how many people are trying to make money off of other people's problems and insecurities out there.
Yeah, same. But thank you so much for having me. This is absolutely fantastic.
Guys, if you're not already, make sure you are subscribed to Camellia as well, because on her channel, we are having a video coming out about Jenna Kutcher, where we're doing a book discussion on her book, How Are You Really? So make sure you are subscribed to her as well. I will link that video in the description below. Thank you all for joining us today.
Yes,
thanks for being here, Cam.
Oh, anytime. It's my pleasure.
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should pick up lesbianism.
Chicago. You guys asked for it.